Picture a map of the Middle East, tracing the sun-baked coastlines where the Arabian Peninsula meets the edge of the Asian continent. Right there, wedged tightly between the rugged mountains of Iran to the north and the rocky enclave of Oman to the south, lies a narrow, unassuming channel of deep blue water. This is the Strait of Hormuz. To the untrained eye, it is just another geographic maritime passage, a mere 20 miles wide at its narrowest point, connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the vast Arabian Sea beyond. But make no mistake, this tiny sunlit bottleneck is the undisputed jugular vein of the modern world. Listen closely to the hum of those waters. Every single day, a staggering 20 million barrels of crude oil glide silently through this incredibly tight corridor. That is roughly a fifth of the entire global petroleum consumption, carried in the bellies of colossal supertankers that stretch longer than skyscrapers. They are hauling the very lifeblood of human civilization. The fuel that powers our massive cargo planes, keeps our sprawling factories humming, and lights up our bustling, brightly lit metropolises. It is a terrifyingly fragile and incredibly dangerous reality. The entire global economy, a massive web of interconnected trade and endless industry, balances precariously on the fate of a maritime choke point so narrow that ships must navigate inbound and outbound lanes just 2 miles wide. Whoever controls this tiny stretch of blue water effectively holds the entire world hostage. To truly understand the terrifying gravity of this critical bottleneck, look just beyond its narrow jaws to the shores of the Persian Gulf. Beneath these scorching sun-baked deserts and shallow coastal waters lies an almost unfathomable treasure. Nearly half of the proven crude oil reserves on the planet are concentrated right here in this singular geographic basin. It is the beating heart of global energy. Yet the brutal, unforgiving reality of geography dictates that this black blood has only one major artery to reach the global market. There are simply no viable alternative routes available anywhere. Pipelines crossing the vast deserts are woefully inadequate, severely limited in capacity, and highly vulnerable to sabotage. The only practical way to move this staggering volume of crude oil is by sea. Enter the mega tankers. These colossal steel leviathans, some stretching longer than the tallest skyscrapers, are marvels of modern engineering. But in the confined waters of the strait, their immense size becomes a fatal liability. Loaded with millions of barrels of highly flammable crude, they sit deep in the water, lumbering forward at agonizingly slow speeds. They cannot maneuver quickly. They cannot hide. They are lumbering giants forced to navigate a narrow corridor surrounded by jagged coastlines and militarized shores. It is an unnerving spectacle. A single well-placed explosive, a rogue sea mine, or a coordinated swarm of fast attack craft could easily cripple one of these behemoths, instantly transforming a vital economic lifeline into an impassable wall of fire and toxic smoke. This is the chilling paradox of our modern era. We have built a technologically advanced, hyper-connected global civilization, yet its survival fundamentally depends on slow-moving ships surviving a highly contested, incredibly dangerous geographical trap. Every single day, the machinery of human progress blindly rolls the dice. But this gamble is not without a dark and bloody precedent. To understand the sheer gravity of this maritime bottleneck, we must look backward to the blistering heat of the 1980s, during the brutal and grinding Iran-Iraq War. As the conflict raged on land, it inevitably spilled into the Persian Gulf, sparking what became known as the Tanker War. Both warring nations, desperate to completely choke off the enemy's vital economic lifeblood, began systematically targeting commercial shipping. Massive oil tankers, once considered untouchable neutral giants, were suddenly caught in the crosshairs of deadly cruise missiles, naval mines, and relentless aerial bombardments. Burning vessels painted the horizon with thick, black columns of smoke, and the world watched in absolute horror as the vital flow of energy began to violently stutter. The threat of a closed strait was no longer a theoretical war game played in the Pentagon. It was a terrifying reality unfolding on the evening news. The fragile global markets instantly panicked. Insurance premiums skyrocketed, and the specter of a crippling worldwide energy crisis loomed large. Recognizing the existential threat to the global economy, the United States military intervened in a massive show of naval force, launching Operation Earnest Will to escort commercial tankers safely through the kill zone. Warships adorned with the stars and stripes sailed into the heavily mined waters, proving that protecting this incredibly narrow strip of sea was a core American strategic imperative. This historical flashpoint cemented a grim realization that still dictates foreign policy today. The strait is the ultimate geopolitical lever. Whoever possesses the audacity to close it, or even severely disrupt it, wields the terrifying power to bring the mighty engines of the industrialized world to a grinding, catastrophic halt. This violent history is forever written in blood, oil, and fire. But today, that fire does not just burn on the water, it instantly ignites the digital trading floors of the global economy. The moment a credible threat emerges in the strait, the mathematics of global panic takes over. It begins in milliseconds. Algorithmic trading bots, sensing the slightest disruption, trigger a massive wave of panic buying. Crude oil futures skyrocket before human brokers even realize what is happening. This is not some distant geopolitical abstract. This is an immediate, violent shockwave tearing through the financial nervous system of the entire planet. Within hours of a closure, the cost of energy surges to catastrophic levels. Factories half a world away are suddenly forced to halt production because the fuel required to keep their heavy machinery running has become too expensive to burn. Global supply chains, already stretched incredibly thin by the demands of a hyper-connected consumer base, begin to snap under the immense pressure. Cargo ships carrying raw materials, electronics, and agricultural staples are stranded in a massive, floating traffic jam, bleeding millions of dollars a day in insurance and operational costs. But the true devastation is felt far from the trading floors and shipping lanes. The panic bleeds directly into your everyday life. When the price of oil spikes, the cost of moving absolutely everything spikes with it. The diesel fuel powering the trucks that deliver food to your local grocery store becomes a premium commodity. The vital jet fuel required to ship emergency medical supplies doubles in price. Almost overnight, the cost of basic survival essentials begins to climb. You feel the squeeze at the gas pump, at the checkout counter, and in your monthly utility bills. The entire interconnected web of modern commerce relies on the uninterrupted flow of cheap energy, and taking that away is like starving a living organism of oxygen. The strait is the beating heart of the industrialized world, and when that heart skips even a single beat, the resulting economic cardiac arrest threatens to wipe out trillions of dollars in global wealth, plunging many millions of ordinary citizens into sudden, terrifying financial ruin. To prevent this ruin, the powerful nations on Earth deploy floating fortresses of unimaginable might. Supercarriers, guided missile destroyers, and nuclear submarines patrol the region, projecting an aura of absolute conventional dominance. Yet, against the sheer reality of the physical landscape, this overwhelming armada faces a deeply unsettling vulnerability. In the suffocatingly narrow confines of the strait, the traditional rules of naval engagement simply evaporate. Here, asymmetric warfare reigns supreme. Nimble, fast attack craft, swarms of weaponized drones, and hidden fields of cheap, devastating sea mines can easily outmaneuver and cripple billion-dollar behemoths. The rugged, mountainous coastlines provide perfect cover for mobile missile batteries that can strike and vanish in minutes. It is a sobering reminder that all the advanced technology in the world cannot rewrite the ancient rules of physical geography. This terrifying dynamic was on full display during the most recent crisis, when sudden escalations threatened to ignite the entire region into a massive inferno. The world held its collective breath as the waters roiled with tension, only exhaling when a fragile, deeply uneasy ceasefire was finally brokered. Today, an eerie calm settles over the shimmering waves, but the underlying threat remains completely unresolved. It forces us to look at our modern, hyper-connected lives and recognize the chilling fragility of it all. A single, unexpected spark in a distant, narrow channel can still easily plunge our bright, beautifully digitized civilization right back into the cold, unforgiving dark. We must never, ever take the vital, invisible arteries of our complex global economy for granted. If you want to fully understand the hidden forces shaping our shared future and learn how to successfully navigate the turbulent waters of global geopolitics, make sure to subscribe and join us as we continue to uncover the undeniable truths of our world.